knows that it is actually his daughter. And then Verdi delivers the lightning strike. The impact is huge. A deeply distressing moment of pure theatre conveyed through a lightweight song.
Verdi satisfies the dramatic element, not in any melodramatic way, in a real, interesting, theatrical investigation. He gives you real theatre, and not just tableau.
Unable to renounce her love for the Duke, Gilda has sacrificed herself.
That courage to put so unsympathetic a man on the stage, ugly not only in body but ugly in soul, is quite fascinating, because often it's the ugliness of Rigoletto which lifts an audience to its feet cheering.
Rigoletto is a testament to Verdi's skill at fusing all the elements to create a powerful dramatic experience. At the premiere, audiences loved it, and it took no time at all for La Donna Mobile to be heard in the streets. Aged 38, Verdi was the undisputed king of Italian opera. He was rich, famous, and at the height of his powers. But there were still aspects of his life that were troubled. His affair with Strepponi had blossomed, but rather like one of his characters, she had a questionable reputation, having had at least 4 illegitimate children before meeting Verdi. Verdi took her to live with him in Busetto, the town of his deceased wife's family. Of course, this didn't go down at all well with the small-minded and bourgeois locals, who, whilst proud of their famous son, shunned his mistress. Amidst this turmoil, Verdi was still traveling abroad and accepting commissions. In 1852, Verdi was eager to find new material for a commission at La Fenice Opera House in Venice. But he complained that he couldn't find the right subject. He wrote, "It is easy to find commonplace stories, but it is very, very difficult to find one that has all the qualities needed if it is to have an impact. One that is also original and provocative." And it was here in Paris that he found what he needed, a poignant story based on the real life of a tragic young woman. This is the grave of Marie Duplessis, a notorious courtesan and mistress of many wealthy and powerful men. Extremely beautiful and witty, she was a legendary figure of mid-19th century Paris, but her life ended tragically. She died of consumption at the age of just 23. One of her lovers was the great writer Alexandre Dumas, and he was about to immortalize her on the stage. Their short love affair would go on to form the basis of his play La Dame aux Camélias, The Lady of the Camellias, which was an instant hit. On seeing Dumas play La Dame aux Camélias, Verdi finally found the raw material he had been searching for. The story goes that as soon as the curtain fell, he ran immediately into his apartment and started sketching the music for La Traviata. La Traviata, or The Fallen Woman, is a story that must have had echoes with Verdi's own relationship with Strepponi. At its center is Violetta, a courtesan, a kept woman, admired but never really accepted into society. But what I think is wonderful is the way Verdi makes the audience not only accept her, but actually care about her.
Audiences love her. What I think people love most about this opera, besides the way it's composed, the beautiful tunes, and the power of the music, I mean, that's number one. But number two is that she ultimately has more integrity than every other character in the piece. And she is supposed to be the one who has the lowest morals, and in fact she rises above everyone else.
Violetta knows she's dying, but she lives a life of endless parties, liaisons and lovers. Into her world steps a young man named Alfredo, who offers her a chance of true love. La Traviata is about the choices she has to make between the superficial life she's accustomed to and the sacrifices for love.
Passionate. I mean, that's what it is. It's passion, raw feeling, raw emotion. And ultimately, if someone comes to an Italian opera, they're expecting to feel something. They're expecting to have a visceral, emotional, physical reaction to the opera. You know, not cerebral, not, oh, that was lovely, but, you know, in the gut.
Alfredo has declared his love and Violetta is left confused. What follows is 10 minutes of some of Verdi's most intimate theatre as she shares her innermost thoughts with us. I love the way Verdi does this. By putting such a woman on stage alone, Verdi is pushing us to embrace her predicament as something we recognize and accept.
That's where the drama plays out and where the real story plays out, and the questions, all of this sort of, is it this or is it that? Do I love, I mean, is this real love? And what about my life? She's completely out of control at this point. And she's fighting the truth, which is that she's already in deep. You know, that's the way love is sometimes. It just hits you when you least expect it and when you least want it sometimes.
But by putting a character such as Violetta on stage, Verdi was again going to get into hot water. The Venetian censors and the opera management objected to Verdi's wish to stage Traviata in contemporary times and in modern dress. It was far too close for comfort. They insisted that Verdi set it at a safe distance, around the 1700s, far from any direct comparison with their own audience. And in the second act, Violetta comes up against the same bourgeois attitudes. Violetta has given up her life and is living a blissful existence with Alfredo. But then Alfredo's father Germont comes to demand that the liaison ends as it jeopardizes his own daughter's marriage.
Germont is the representation of the society and the oppressive world in which this beautiful flower, Traviata, and this wonderful love story is trapped in. It's a world that doesn't allow that to happen. And Germont embodies that. This cannot happen under the rules of life as he understands it. And I think Verdi captures that beautifully.
And now Verdi really ups the demands on her voice, calling for a big and dramatic sound to express her intense anger.